Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Emmanuel and this is FPL for Africa. Okay, so on today's video we'll be going over my match day 1 squad and I'll be talking you through my tips, my strategies and my plans for the current group stage. I think I mentioned in the last video concerning the strategy I want to use and the opportunity to make transfers within a match day, as long as the matches go on in that same match day but on different days. You are able to make transfers within the substitution window, which is the period when a match ends or some matches end on a match day and the period where the next match is supposed to start on the next day. For example, let me just go over it again. Turkey and Italy play by 8 o'clock on Friday. Substitution window runs from then till the 12th of June, which is Saturday, by 2 o'clock when Wales and Switzerland kick off. So around that period, there's a substitution window for you to either change your captain, change your players. Maybe a player you started didn't do well and you have a player who you think does better or can do better on your bench. You just make a manual substitution. And also that's why I also mentioned in the last video of starting players whose matches kick off earlier than the other players. For example, in my team, this is my team selection. I'll go over it, but let me just state this first. I have the Turkish goalkeeper starting ahead of Schmeichel, who is my second goalkeeper. That doesn't mean I think he's going to do better or I think he's going to give me a clean sheet against, of course, they're playing Italy, so that's very unlikely. But if they were to do that, then good, that saves me the opportunity and I don't get to lose those points on my bench, regardless of whatever Schmeichel plays. But then if I'm not satisfied with whatever points he gets, I can as well just swap him to Schmeichel and know that Schmeichel is going to, or hope that he does better in the game that Denmark play, which would be Finland. Denmark play Finland on the first game. Okay, so I think that's a major reason why Ronaldo is on my bench. I know some people will be asking why I would bench Ronaldo. It's because I can always have the opportunity to sub him into the team after the match day, has started. Portugal play on the 15th, so they play on the last day. So around that period, I can decide to play any single player I want. And if that player doesn't do well, I can just sub him off for Ronaldo. That's my decision leading up to here. And I also mentioned that I was going to use my limitless chip in match day 2, which also makes me select these players. These players I selected now, it's just because I look at them having a good match day 1 and match day 3 in the group stage. And match day 2, I can always use the limitless chip where I have unlimited transfers and unlimited price choices. So I can, like I said, bring in French players, English players who have a much easier game at that point in time and avoid having to play Ronaldo or some German players who have a tougher fixture on match day 2. Okay, so for my striking positions, I went with Lukaku, Depay and Ronaldo. Just because on the fixture tab, Portugal have Hungary, and in their last friendly against Israel, Ronaldo scored 1 goal, and of course you know how he is on his face. It was really obvious that he would have liked to do more. So I expect him to get a goal or 2 in the Portuguese game against Hungary. And also, you remember he's chasing the goal scoring record by Ali Day, the Iran forward. I think he's about 6 or 7 goals or even 5 goals shy of that record. And he'll be looking to breaking the record. So that's done. And Lukaku, of course, Lukaku. Belgium, will I say, have one of the easiest groups. And having Lukaku is almost like a no-brainer. Then for Depay, I can as well go with Harry Kane. But I chose instead to go with Depay because I feel anytime the Netherlands play, the whole goals go through him. Everything goes through him. He's more like their focal point. I'm likened to Harry Kane in Tottenham last season, how he had the highest assists and highest goals. So I see Depay producing more for that price, and also giving me, since he's also cheaper, I think 1.5 million cheaper than Harry Kane, so it gives me the luxury of affording more players. Now, the Turkish, let me go to the midfield first of all. I have Eriksen, Sabitzer, Berardi, Musiala, and Nego. Nego, of course, is just a bench fodder. I don't expect him to start, but if he does, okay. I don't really plan on him going anywhere near my team. I don't want him anywhere near this team. Eriksen, he's the Danish provider, assister, creator, anything you want to call him. So he has to go into my team. And Sabitzer, I've seen a lot of things going with Alaba, but I'm not quite sure of what Alaba can do in the Austrian setup, because I've been seeing their recent matches, the highlights and the rest. He's on some set piece and the rest, like free kicks, but I don't know, something just, will I say an intuition? I just want to go with Sabitzer for this, since he's almost like a differential, since a lot of people are basically going with Alaba. Then for my Berardi pick, Berardi scored in his last game for Italy, and some teams are going with Insigne, Chiesa, and the rest, who are quite overpriced, if I may say. And Berardi is just at 6 million. And of course, if he doesn't start, Italy play the first game, and so their lineup should be out by 7, of which the deadline is by 8. So I can as well just change him if he doesn't start to whoever I think is starting. Same with Bastoni on my Italian defense. If he doesn't start, I can just swap and change my team. I have a few defenders I'm looking at, like Pau Torres of Spain, but I just need a little bit of confirmation on the fact that he doesn't have, or is not infected with COVID like most of the Spanish camp. Currently they are in isolation, so that's on hold for now. And then my other defensive picks, we have Jason Denayer of Belgium. He's bound to start. The coach Roberto Martinez likes him, so I expect him to start and also play. He plays more of this, will I say, mid defensive role in their 3-man defense. He plays like the sweeper there, because he's faster than the other 32-year-old and 35-year-old they have in their defense. Belgium defense is actually full of old men. Then Mili, the Danish right back, who also has a game against Finland. I'll be hoping for a clean sheet on this one. That's why he's here. Then Dumfries. A lot of people are going with Wijndal, who is the left wing back for the Dutch team, the Netherlands team. Well, I don't know. I'm just going for, will I say, surety with Dumfries, because I know he's going to start. He's bound to start. And Robertson, who has Czech Republic. I think it's, will I say, easy for me to go with Robertson. After seeing the way he has performed for Liverpool over the last few seasons, and he's more like the linchpin for Scotland, because nothing goes or nothing happens without him being involved in it, without him putting a lot of, will I say, crosses, assists, and all this. Scotland tends to start with 2 defenders at the back. Robertson, 2 left backs, at the back. Robertson and Tierney, just to accommodate all of them, because they don't really have a lot of good players. And you can't be benching Tierney or Robertson just to start one of the other. So they mostly start with the 2 of them. And I see Robertson doing well. He's also a differential pick. Funny enough, he's a differential pick, maybe because of his price at 5.5. Most people are going with 4.5, 5.5 has become too much, but they're going with 4.5 million priced defenders. Well, I just want to go with Robertson because I have a feeling the Scottish team will do well against the Czech Republic. And on the bench, of course, obviously Schmeichel. I'll be hoping for a clean sheet against Finland. Ronaldo will not be on my bench. That's it. I just have to start these other players because they start before him. And so whatever happens, whoever I know I'm not satisfied with their score before Portugal play on the last day, I can just swap them to Ronaldo. And Musiala is just here as a stand-in. Like I said earlier, Berardi and Bastoni, their starting bets are not sure. So whenever I get confirmation on whoever is starting, my team will be updated, and I'll probably get funds from Musiala because it's about 5.5. So I'll probably downgrade him to a 4.5 or a 5 million prize midfielder to fund the transfer for these other players if I need to replace them. And I already touched on Nigo. I don't expect him to start, and I don't want him to come anywhere close to my team. I think he's a winger for Hungary, and they play Portugal, so I'm not really looking at him coming into my team. So that's about it. That's about it for my match day 1 team selection video. I'll be dropping another video pretty soon on the selections, on my selection for my limitless team, which would be on match day 2. I think I'll be looking at players who have an easier match in that period. For example, I think Russia has a good game. So we're looking at players like Zuba. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. They are striker. Also, I'm looking at maybe Zielinski from Ukraine against North Macedonia. We'll be looking at Depay from Netherlands. Also, Harry Kane at this point in time against Scotland. The reason I didn't want to go with any English players in my game week or my match day 1 squad is because I'm not really sure of who's going to start at this point in time. So when I'm sure of that, I should be able to decide whichever English player I want to bring in for the match day 2. Then also France. France is more like a no-brainer for the match day 2 limitless squad. Looking at players like Griezmann, Mbappe, Benzema, Giroud, whoever starts at that point in time. And this game would be a strong one to avoid Portugal and Germany unless we get a clear indication after the first game on match day 1 and see how well they perform. Maybe Portugal turn up really well and Germany end up being so bad against France. Then you can consider picking up a player from Portugal against Germany or vice versa. But for now, the plan is to avoid this game. Spain versus Poland, same thing here. After their first game, I would like to see which players start, which players maintain their positions and the rest, so I would know whoever I want to pick for them. So that's about it. The last video, I was quite impressed with the way the last video got some recognition. So I would like you to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content. Thank you and see you next time.